Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Caregiver and Spoonie blog where I actually talk about my life, which I don't mind sharing. That way you guys know why I'm doing what I'm doing in regards to the podcast and now this. Now, everything that we have talked about has led to this particular point, which is where I meet my wife. I think that's the best, I honestly think that she rescued me. Because I was living with my mom, I was angry, I have talked about, like, there was so many feelings, like, buried deep inside, and she literally rescued me, and I'm going to tell you more a little bit about how we met, and everything that has transpired, all the good things, the part where she got sick, probably I'm gonna use that for another episode, because that's a whole different, story. Or this episode will be like 2 hours long. So I don't want to take too much of your time. So let's get to this. So we actually met. Oh, this is the weirdest part about this story though. Because I met my wife around the same time that I cashed out my 401k. The one where my mom asked me for money and then I found out that she wasn't going to pay me back. It was around that time. It was the weirdest thing because I cashed out my 401k. I was on a dating website. I met Katie, my future wife at the time. I didn't know she was going to be my wife. It was funny because I gave my mom the money and then I started hanging out with Katie on the first date. We started talking on the website. We were just chatting and everything, to me she kind of seemed like a nice girl. I didn't know what was going on behind the pictures. She's just staring at me, like I didn't know what was going on behind the camera, So I was almost like catfish. I was almost like catfish. Nah, I'm just kidding. So me and Katie, we started talking and everything. So we finally decided to meet in person. I was like, okay, let's go to the movies. We went to the movies. So I went to pick her up. And here's the thing though. She lived in a basement. I didn't know what was going on because, you don't really know what's going on when you go out with somebody that you just met online, especially like, oh, come to my house and pick me up and then come inside. I was like, am I gonna? And this is how bad my trust issues were. Like, this is really bad because I get to her place. I'm like, okay, I'm out. Just come outside, and she's like, no, come to the door at least. Come, be a gentleman. I'm like, I'm not a gentleman. I was like, I'm gonna leave, and she's like, okay, then leave. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I actually ended up going to the door, knocking on the door. She opens the door, and I'm like, this is just like too much. I'm like, what is this, like 1920? And she will bring that up all the time. I'm like, what is this, 1920? It's like, you can just come outside. And she's like, no, you're gonna take me on a date. You're gonna do it the right way. And okay, that's how a relationship started. Literally. So we go to the movies. We watch a movie. It was like 1,000 Ways to Die in the West.
Don't forget that I bought the hot dog.
Yeah, and she's telling me things that I shouldn't forget. Like, when we get to the movies, I bought the tickets. She bought the food. That's a 50-50 relationship. That's what I like about this. It's like, okay, I like this 50-50. And I'm not a cheap guy. She will tell you, like, I'm not cheap, but it's like, hey, 50-50, okay? That's what I liked about her. That's what I liked about her. Is like 50-50. I pay for the ticket. She paid for the food. She bought me a hot dog and a drink. So we ended up going to see 1,000 Ways to Die in the Wild Wild West, something like that. I liked the movie. She did. And one of the things that's still up in the air about what happened is that we were talking before the movie started, and she said, oh, I have a Wii Fit. I'm the type of guy that I'm funny but rude, but not in the kind of rude that is attacking you. It just comes out that way, but I don't mean anything, anything hurtful, anything like that. She's all like, "Oh, I have a wee fit," and I don't know why. I decided, hey, I don't know why I decided to say, "Oh, you should use it," and she just stared at me. Like I said, "Oh, you should use it," and she's like, "What?" I'm like, "I'm just kidding," because that's how I am. I mean, like, I am very playful, and sometimes the things that I say may come off as rude, but I'm not attacking anybody. That's just how my humor is. Almost like Deadpool. But now that I was watching this Mexican movie the other day, a comedy is like everybody's like that. A lot of us are like that, almost like Deadpool. I have that kind of humor, and I'm not attacking anybody. I'm not being rude. I'm not saying it to put you down or anything like that. That's how I am, and that's what she married. And the funny part is like she was all like almost like not believing what I just said, and I was like, okay, I was just kidding and everything. So me and my wife, we just decided to like text. We were talking and everything. We were always like talking, texting every day. We talked for we met around April. We moved in together around September, October. So we talked for like 6 months. Yeah, 6 months around there. 5 to 6 months, something around there. So here's the thing though, like I was saying, like we talked, we went out multiple times and everything, and I think I have already mentioned this. So I found out that my mom wasn't gonna pay me. We got in a big fight. I was talking to Katie. I told her what happened, and she's all like, "Well, I actually got a place where I need a roommate." And I was so mad at that point that with my mom that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna leave. And and Katie's like, well, I need a roommate. I'm like, I need a room. I can be your roommate. And I remember that she was always like, are you sure you wanna do this? I'm like, yeah, I wanna move it. I wanna move out of my house with my mom. So we moved in together. And we started to get to know each other more and everything, because literally like we didn't really knew each other very well because we just talked and we went out, but we got to know each other even more by living together. And one of the funny things that happened is that when we were living together, and she will tell you, I came home from work. The dog, she brought her vision into this relationship. The dog didn't like me at all at first. How do I know she didn't like me? Because one day I came home and we were sleeping in separate rooms at that point. I had my own room, she had her own room. I see something on my bed and I'm like, what is that? So I get closer and closer and I see this pile of poop, of dog poop. And I see the dog. I look at the dog. The dog runs under the bed, and I'm like, did this dog really just poop in my bed? And yes, she did. I sent a message to Katie. She's like, no, she didn't. So I had to take a picture and send it to Katie and be like, look, I'm not the type of person that's just gonna grab a pile of poop and put it in my bed. She's laughing. So she's all laughing, like we got to know each other more. And the reason why I say that she literally rescued me is because ever since I moved out of my mom's apartment, I'm more calm. Obviously, I went to therapy after and everything, but I think I'm more calm this way because somehow she brings me down. My wife, Katie, she actually calms me down a lot. Like when I'm mad, like she listens to me. She tells me like she tries to calm me down. She takes care of me. I obviously take care of her. But we complement each other. It's like we fulf- we we fill each other's glasses pretty much. Like she fills my love thing, I fill her love thing, and I think that came out wrong, but it's about the love languages. So I mean, and what I'm trying to say with this is that, oh, I know another thing that before I forget this, one of the good things that she did when we were getting to know each other, and this is for all the spoonies out there and all the people suffering from something right now. She told me from the beginning that she was ill, that she had a stroke. So because I didn't really know what a stroke was, I when she told me that, I looked her up and I was like, I can't believe she's alive for once. And when we finally started dating and we got together and we even got married, I knew what I was getting into. I knew that due to her stroke, there were gonna be issues. I knew that at one point I was gonna have to take care of her, and I still marry her because I love her. So what I'm trying to say is that sometimes you might not get like the whole love story that you see in TV or on TV. You might just meet somebody and be like, that person is something different. That's pretty much what happened with me and my wife. She was completely different of everybody that I used to date. She is very blunt and just like I am. So it was weird because I and because of everything that my mom and my uncle said, I never thought that somebody would love me because of who I am. And my wife loves me because of who I am. And I love her because of who she is. So that's pretty much the love story right now. Obviously, we have had bad moments. We have gotten in arguments because of the way that I was before. I came broken into the relationship. I came mentally broken. I was angry. I was still angry, even though I moved. I was more calm, but I was still. I at that point I still didn't face my demons until she became ill, and I'm gonna talk about that on another episode because at the point where she became ill, that's where life changed. But when we got married in 2014 until she got sick in 2017, we had ups and downs. Our life was good. Like she was working multiple jobs. Not that I told her to. She was working multiple jobs. We had a business which we lost when she became sick. But overall, our love story. I like our love story. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I like it. It's very short, but it keeps growing. And the reason why I say it's very short is because obviously she got sick, and the love story changed from just being me and her, and being everybody, or me and her being independent. We became a team, pretty much. And that's one of the things that a lot of people have a hard time with, especially when you become a spoonie or you have to be the caregiver, because you might not be used to that. And like I said, like before my wife got sick, like she was very independent. I was independent. I could do my own things. I still can, but obviously now I'm more. I want to make sure that she's okay before I can do anything else. So things have changed, and I'm gonna be talking about that, like I said, in another episode, because this particular episode is just about like the love story, which I love. Like we had our first Christmas was amazing because she spoiled me. I spoil her. And I don't think I have ever been spoiled like that ever. So she bought me a bunch of comics that I loved, and I like that. She bought me these statues, like marble statues that are collectibles. Like she spoiled me on her first Christmas. Like we got married on December 7th, and she spoiled me on her first Christmas. So we tried to spoil each other, obviously because losing one income and pretty much just going from two incomes to one income has been a little bit harder to spoil each other, but we still spoil each other in different ways. Like I give her massages, I take care of her, I clean the house, I do things for her. Like my love language is pretty much acts of service. and I like to take care of my wife. And if you're going to something similar where everything was going well until one of the spouses got sick, remember this: you're not alone, and that's why I'm doing the podcast, because I know how hard it is. Like, everything was going well, and still is, but obviously everything changed. Everything was going well until the point that she got sick. Like, I remember everything that happened before she got sick. Like, obviously I was mentally broken, but we had fights, we had good times. Like, everybody's gonna have fights and good times, but when one of the spouses becomes a spoonie, it's even harder. So that can create even a harder situation to live, and there's gonna be fights and everything. And so right now I'm just telling you, like, don't give up hope. If you're single and you're Spoonie, one of the things that I recommend you to do is just be honest from the beginning, just like she was. She told me, like, she was sick, she had a stroke, so I knew what I was getting into. And a lot of people are gonna try to get involved in that. Like, a lot of people told her that, and this was before even she got sick, that I just wanted her for money, or that I was just looking to get something out of her, which is not the case. So a lot of people are gonna try to change your mind for whatever reason, but that's not on you. That's on their insecurities. Just so you know. So uh, uh, and um, and that's pretty much your love story. I mean, it's pretty short and sweet. Obviously, there's more stories that I'm gonna be sharing at another point, but that's how we met. That's how we began this marriage. That's how we began this relationship, and we've been together for over 5 years. No, it's gonna be 5 years. No, yeah, it's been over 5 years, and we love each other. So don't worry if you're a spoonie, or you're just single. There's always somebody there for you, as long as you're yourself and you're honest from the beginning. There's no surprises. So that's pretty much the story for today. I know that it's very short, but that's our love story of how we met. And in the next episodes, obviously, I'm gonna be able to talk more about what has happened from the point that she became ill to now. So I hope you're enjoying the podcast, and I mean the podcast, the blog, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and also, if you want to share your story, don't forget to send it to me, and you can do it anonymously at the caregiver and spoonie at gmail.com. And I hope you guys are enjoying these episodes, because I'm enjoying making them. I enjoy the podcast, I enjoy the blog. It has helped me a lot. And I'll leave you with this. Like always, take care of yourself.